In our last video, we talked about the emotional reaction and fallout to somebody who's leaving Kollel and all the different mindsets that may be going through his mind. Today, we're going to talk about something which is probably not going to make you feel all that much better, if at all. Um, you're not the only one who's leaving Kollel. The unfortunate reality is that while there's a lot of logistical support given to the yungerman who's leaving Kollel, there's not so much support given emotionally. I suspect that there's just not a whole lot of awareness in terms of what it's like for the yungerman, and for sure not for the wives whose husbands need to leave yeshiva. The wives are also leaving Kollel, and it's important to understand what they go through, and it's important to understand what their situation is. Let's take a look a little bit at the background of the typical Kollel wife. Education-wise, she went through the yeshiva system. She was educated to prize Torah as the highest level of accomplishment in the world, and to consider its pursuit to be a life goal. So much so that she's dedicated herself to being not just a wife and a mother, but also primary breadwinner of the family. And she does this in order to allow her husband to learn full time, because this is one of their shared values, that they both consider this to be the most important thing in the world, that he should be learning full time, and she wants to do her part in supporting that. That's her conduit to Liman HaTorah, and she's happy to participate. She's happy to do her part to help her husband do what he can. So now they've been doing this for a few years, and the pressures are building. The family gets a little bigger, the finances are more difficult to manage, and now all of a sudden it has to stop. There are a couple of mindsets that come up relatively commonly, and I'm just going to put out these two, even though, as we said last week, there are definitely other mindsets and other reactions. These are two common ones. One is that the Kollel wife will blame herself. The blame could take any number of forms. This is the same as one of his mindsets that we mentioned last week. I didn't daven properly, I didn't act properly, I wasn't as attentive to his needs, and that's why this is happening. And that's one possibility, is she blames herself because she feels she wasn't doing her job, she wasn't doing her part well enough, whatever her part may be, and obviously there are many different pieces of her part, whatever that is, but she feels that she wasn't doing it well enough, so there's self-blame there. The other possibility is that she's upset at him. She's upset at him because she sees that she knows that learning was of primary importance to him. She remembers on dates how he would talk about it with such passion and such chashivas, and she sees him over bein hazmanim, over bein hastarim, learning, writing notes, talking about what he's learned with such excitement. And now, for whatever reason, he can't continue. It's just not something that he can do, or not something that he's willing to do, however it ends up working out. So there are those two possibilities, that she's either angry, upset at herself, or she's angry or upset at him. To make matters worse, within the context of the relationship, there may be a certain reciprocation of those feelings by him towards her. Could be he blames her, could be he blames himself. So no matter how you cut it, however you balance the equation, this is not something which is going to be necessarily good for the relationship. So now, exactly how to balance this out, there are many different ways, which I'm going to be addressing in a different video. But one thing that I want to point out, which is of tremendous importance to really think through clearly, is that leaving Kollel is a time of tension. Tension, by nature, breeds conflict. Conflict is defined as, I have certain needs that you're not meeting, you have certain needs that I'm not meeting. That's the definition of conflict. Now, whatever the cause of this conflict was, very often the conflict is not necessarily about the specific situation that you're in the here and now, but it's a reflection of certain expectations you have of yourself, certain expectations you have of your wife, how you react to what those expectations of each other are. It's not necessarily about the particular situation, but it's about your expectations of each other. It's very likely that this pattern of expectations, unless something drastic has happened that's like really new in the relationship, it's very likely that this pattern of expectations has been present in your relationship for a very long time. And it's something that putting aside the whole Kollel piece, putting aside the Ruchnistic aspects and all that, putting that aside, just looking at the relationship itself, it's worth figuring out how to repair those patterns. When you're in this time of conflict, when you're in this time of tension, I should say, and stress, this is when you need each other's support the most. And this is possibly the best time to really be able to look at the pieces of your relationship that are holding you back from being as supportive as possible and work to repair those so that you can be there for each other. You care about each other. You want the best for each other. You want to grow your family together. You want to be the best couple that you can be. You want to be the best family that you can be. And the way to do that is to try to fix it up. Talk to a mentor, talk to a Rav, talk to a friend, talk to a therapist. But this is an excellent time to really work towards repairing the connection or the disconnection that the two of you have, even if it's only in certain areas. It's very much worth it.